Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I'm, of course, Jimmy, and we are proudly sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield. If you're a growing business and you want any support to continue the growth of your business, they are the people to speak to. Also, is your MOT due? Is it anywhere near due? Because you want to get booked in with VMB Auto Centres at Handsworth. Normally, the low price of £30. However, if you quote the word Ramble, £15 English for an MOT. Absolutely unreal deal. Thank you to our regular sponsors. And as this is the warm-up, we're also sponsored by Triple Point Brewery. So I thank them also for their continued support. That is our pre-match venue for home games. So I hope to see you there before the Stoke game. So, how are we all? Tough week last week. Tough week on the pitch. Tough week off the pitch. But it's a new week. It's a new week. And whilst we experience everything that we did last week and sort of try and soak it in and try and step forward, we've got the opportunity now to change the focus. So, tough game coming up at Middlesbrough. I've got a rundown from Johnny from the Boro Breakdown to show you a little bit later. So, thank you to Johnny for that. That was recorded before their result because we weren't the only ones to get well, ours wasn't a poor result, was it? We went to Elland Road. Leeds were very, very good. Welcome to all our new Leeds United subscribers as well, by the way. It certainly wasn't a turn I was expecting to take. I've long had a rivalry with Leeds fans just due to where I am and things like I always thought that if, like myself and a channel such as Connor's got together, it would be quite spicy and a bit spiky between us in terms of I want to be able to say what I think in general and things like that. But over the last week, as I was saying last time out, I've softened a little bit. And I think other things that happen, both inside and outside of the football world, brings you closer together and sort of puts everything in perspective, doesn't it? So congratulations to Leeds. It still doesn't sound right, but fully deserved to beat us. I think, to be honest, that will lead us nicely into our first little bit that we're going to do, because we weren't at the races on Friday night, and that wasn't the reason Leeds beat us. Leeds were good, we were bad. You know, it's not we were bad, so Leeds were lucky to win. It's not a case of Leeds weren't good. They were good and we were bad, which we've talked about. So Chris Wilder took a lot of criticism regarding his lineup, why have he changed a winning team. A lot of people thought it was quite negative in terms of going to, yes, a strong, powerful team in this division, as he likes to say, which undoubtedly they are. They're the favourites for the title. And you can see why on that evidence. I maybe under-egged them a little bit. I wasn't a big Daniel Farke fan. I wanted him to sort of bumble along with Daniel Farke because I think he's not the answer. But all ends up, we were second best in every department, weren't we? So normally, I'd ask you, what's your team? But trying to revamp the content a little bit, we're going to sort of rebadge it. And this is a bit of a soft test, really, to see whether this works, because it could well get me a copyright strike if I'm not careful. So we'll see. We'll see if this works on a live stream, and if so, we'll keep building on it. And it's the same sort of premise, really. But instead of what's your team, we're gonna be born to be wild. Born to be wilder, because a lot of us think we could have picked a better team, and maybe on Friday night we could have done, to be fair. But he takes the responsibility. He is the one that sticks his neck on the block. So how are you picking your team? And my team will come as no surprise to you. We're going with the big hitters back in that weren't in. Raksaki, Gilchrist, they're both coming in. This is my team. Michael Cooper in goal. We're going to have we're going to have Harrison Burrows at left back, Alfie Gilchrist at right back, Harry Suter and Anel in the middle of a back four. Not a 3, a 4, because that's what we play now. Sidney Peck's coming in for the suspended Vinny Souza, who picked up his 5th yellow card against Leeds with a ridiculous appealing for a yellow card for the opposition player. Absolutely. To get a yellow, which means you're banned for a tricky trip to Middlesbrough. Ollie Arblaster, who I didn't think had the best game against Leeds, if I'm honest, he will undoubtedly bounce back because he's a quality player and hopefully he can start controlling the middle of the park like he has done for the vast majority of the season. I'm sticking with my guns. I'm putting Callum O'Hare out on the left rather than in the 10. I don't think we should be sacrificing the talents of Gus Hamer. This is with everything crossed that Gus Hamer's fit, by the way, because he did limp off against Leeds. I thought he was also quite quiet, but we know what Gus can give us. As much as he drifts in and out of games himself, much like Callum O'Hare, his output is at least there to stand by. So Gus Hamer in the 10 for me, it's an absolute no-brainer. Raksaki on the right-hand side, coming in to the right. What we will hopefully hear to be a tricky left-back spot for Middlesbrough, but we'll catch up with Johnny from the Boro breakdown on that one. And Big Keith up front, who continues to divide opinion, and I understand it. I thought he had an okay game against Leeds, to be honest. Thought he worked hard. But again, it's with the odd ruck. That stray pass to Nonto was just absolutely crazy. I'm going to jump into some of your comments first before we get a rundown. But I also want to know what you think of that. I think that team picks itself, to be honest, or it should. Who knows what Wilder's picking? But we're born to be Wilder, aren't we? So that's where we're running with it. Michael starts us off tonight. Good evening, pal. Hamer in the 10, where he will be more effective. Brooks on the left, Raksaki on the right. O'Hare rested, as I don't see what he gives us. He's lightweight. The tide has turned a little bit on Callum O'Hare, hasn't it? I've held off a little bit. I've sort of dropped the odd hint here and there that I'm not convinced. Certainly of his ability to just command an instant starting spot. Somebody rightly said on, I think it was the debrief, or certainly one of our post matches, that he's there in name alone. He's there because he's Callum O'Hare rather than his performances. If that doesn't work, says Michael, give Brewster and Campbell a run out. If we lose, trying to win. If we lose, let's lose trying to win. Not that rubbish that we saw on Friday night. And when I say rubbish, I mean we made Leeds look like a top 6 Prem team. I don't think they were that good, but they were good. Mr. V, good evening, pal. I hope CW decides to go back to what was perfectly fine. Working perfectly fine until the Leeds game. He recognises he made a bad judgment call, and now it's time for the same. And strongest starting 11, it's as you were. Completely agree, pal. Evening, mate, says Turkey Jack. First loss came as a shock, not because of the loss itself, but because of how we lost. I think it's shown us how far we still have to go within the team, especially passing and shooting. Boys, up the blades and up the ramble, like and subscribe. Thank you, Mr. V. With the players we have, we shouldn't be that sloppy and careless in possession. To still be toothless up front is proving that more needs help. We seem to struggle against a high press. I think everybody struggles against a high press. It's more a case of how do you combat that high press? Can you suck up that pressure and hope that the opposition tires, which was one opinion the other night that thought Leeds might tire. They didn't, but obviously they got the goal, which gives you the extra impetus to carry on. While they got everything wrong, and it's only happened once, it was just unfortunate it was against Leeds. We're still in a good position, and I think, again, it's a big eye-opener on how to beat us. The goal scoring and passing really needs sorting. Hamer's hit and miss. He needs to be in the number 10 and link up with more for his support. All our problems can be solved before or in the January window. Mr. V says, is there any news at all regarding a potential takeover? When will you be speaking with Prince Abdullah again? Don't know. It's not like we have a regular weekly catch-up. If there's anything to share, he will share at his discretion with me. So, and others, I'm sure. So I will let you know, mate, as soon as there's any news on the takeover, but nothing. I've heard nothing recently. Evening, Jimmy, says Ian. I would stick with Gus on the left and put Brewster in for Callum O'Hare. I know you would, pal. I know you would. The president of the Rian Brewster fan club. It was effective against Luton. He needs game time as there's a contract decision to be made in January. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe. Thank you, pal. Wilder tried to be a bit too clever and it backfired, said GT. It's fair. I don't think the formation's clicking with some of our players. I put Gus in the 10 with more up top and Campbell or Brewster or Brooks on the left. Kelly says we need a win. We need to keep up there near top spot. If we get a win, George would be so proud. Absolutely right, Kel. 6 points out of 9 will still be really, really good start back. Yeah, absolutely. But we've got to go and beat Boro now, haven't we? We've got to go and beat Boro. If we don't get Boro, it's not beat Boro. It's not a disaster. I'd like to get a point there. But again, that's 4 points from a possible 9, and it doesn't read as well, does it? Let's not go 5 at the back for 5 at the back. Let's not 5 at the back for 5 at the back for at least 5 years. Nice one, Jamie. Thanks, mate. Tongue twister or what? But yeah, we've moved on from that formation, I think, haven't we? Evening, Jimmy. Over Friday, yeah, onwards and upwards, says Dave. In my opinion, up the Blades, up the Ramble. Let's go, Blades. Love that. Scott says, evening, Jim. Callum O'Hare to the bench. Hamer in the 10. Raksaki and Brooks on the wings. That's a popular shout tonight, actually. Would like to see more balls whipped into Kiefer's head. He's our number one choice, and we need to play to his strengths a little more than we have been doing so far. Another tough test, but let's get something there and on to Saturday at the Lane for Stoke. And I'm sure a terrific showing for George Baldock. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Thank you, pal. I'm going to Boro, says Jamie. If we don't get something, especially after their results, I'll tell you a hot topic, which is directly after this. Nice bit of advertising, Jamie. On what I'll do is we might get demonetized with what I'll say. Right, thank you for holding off then, pal, with your tongue twisters of comments tonight. But yeah, Jamie's just talking about hot topic. That is one of our Ramblers exclusives. If you want to join us on Patreon, that is something that we are offering there as a thank you to our Patreon subscribers, basically. Ray says that's coming up straight after the warm-up tonight. Love Crispy. It looked like the white flag, says Ray. No pun intended. Went up before a ball was kicked. We all said man for man, as we're as good. Yeah, man for man, we are as good as Leeds, I believe, but we didn't put our strongest team out. We just rolled over and had our bellies tickled. Oh, evening, Jimmy says, Beast Boy, hope you're well. I am, mate. Thank you. Hope you are too. No one can tell me that Brewster didn't play better than O'Hare in the 10. You might have played better than O'Hare in the 10 on Friday night, mate. And I'm tired of that. Can we call a striker up front? Something needs to change. All right, okay. So you'd rather move to a 4-4-2. Dave the Nose, Leary, good evening, pal. Evening, Jimmy. All the confidence in the world that we'll bounce back on Wednesday night. A tough game, no doubt, but fancy us to nick a 1-0 win. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe. Yeah, Boro have just had a really poor result by their own standards. Did they lose 2-0 to Bristol City at home? And Bristol, they're a up and down side, aren't they? That's the Championship, isn't it? It can get beat by anybody, but they're not unbeatable. I was trying to look back, says Tim. This time last season, I think we had about half our squad out through injury. Massive improvement this time around. I think absolutely right, Tim. That goes under the radar a little bit. We did have loads of injury problems last season, and prior to that as well. This season, we've done really well in terms of keeping the numbers down. Thank you for that point, pal. Evening, buddy. Says Nige, we reckon we'll get 3 points, 2-0 win, Blades. Love that. Love that. Who comes in for Sousa and Hamer? Is Hamer definitely out? I'm not sure, Michael. There's a decision to make then, isn't there? It'll probably be Brooks and O'Hare staying in the 10. But for Sousa, I think it's a straight swap for Sidney Peck. We looked awful in person. Was it just as hopeless on Sky? It was, mate. It was just as hopeless on Sky. Anyway, we watched it. We couldn't make it look good. Rob says Wilder got it wrong. Let's move on. We're still up there and not quite fully there as a team yet. Keep the faith. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Top man, Rob. It was. Yeah, Nige agrees. Yeah, it was. Leeds supporters were class acting their applause for George Baldock, as well as Ampadu and Bogle, who played with the Starman. I thought Leeds were top class in terms of their supporters. I thought, and I think most will agree, even though we don't like to even mention their name, but I thought Wednesday supporters have been absolutely tremendous throughout. There are so many things more important than football. Look, in some instances, people massively underestimate how important football is. So my wife, for example, doesn't understand how it can affect my mental health and my mood and other things like that. However, things like rivalries, which are so much fun throughout the season. Leeds, as I said, I always thought if I went on a Leeds channel, they would get it. But they've caught me at a time where I'm very reflective and things are more important than football rivalries. And, you know, we've lost George, we've lost Johnny, we've lost Maddie before that. It's been a terrible week, and there's things where clubs are showing their respect and you're sort of downing your weapons for each other, if you like, and coming together. It's been absolutely sensational to put one out there for Man Mountain. Sensational, the reaction. So thank you to everybody. I'm sure the rivalry will slowly start to come back and the fire will start to burn again, but that's for another time, isn't it? Yeah, been brilliant. So well said, Michael. What I don't understand is why he did what he did against Leeds, especially when they've shown they can make mistakes. He explained it away as he studied the way Southampton had got there. I think they do them 2 or 3 times last season. Southampton seemed to have Leeds' number last year, and he set up the way that they set up, thinking that we could adapt to our formation change because we've played it historically. Just didn't work, did it? Danny Boy says, go back to the team and tactics like we have been using all season. Just disappointing watching last time. So I should have gone for an attacking game. Boro, hot and cold at the moment. Can see a 1-0 win, Jim. Love that, Danny. You're getting claimed in the morning. Claimed in the... you want to... Jamie. Was a very negative performance and tactics. Showed Leeds way too much respect. And that lineup showed it was a bit gutless. I think there are better teams in this league than Leeds and Sunderland, top of the league. Looked good yesterday away at Hull, and Burnley beat Leeds at Ellen Road earlier in the season, although they played a low block. I love it, mate. It's all about opinions. I'd have said the same, but I think in terms of teams I've seen for 90 minutes, I haven't watched Sunderland for a full 90. I watched the Leeds-Burnley game, actually, and I thought Leeds peppered them. Leeds absolutely peppered them, and Burnley hung on. So, yes, they did beat Leeds, but I thought, you know, it were a bit of a smash and grab, to be honest. So I do think you have to give Leeds their flowers, personally. But again, it's all about opinions, pal. All about opinions. O'Heney's dropping, get Brooks on the left, says Jamie. Middlesbrough lost at home to Bristol. Were it 3-0 in end? Could be there for the taking. I don't tend to watch any championship highlights if we've lost, because I am a 40-year-old baby that throws his toys out the pram. Like that 11, Jimmy, says David. Thank you, pal. Can't start O'Hare. Oh, hey up. Says Nige, seriously, it's a no from me. Brooks needs to go on the left, Hamer in the 10 and Raksaki on the right. Why is no one running off more? I'd be screaming if I was Wilder. Absolutely right, pal. It's like we were frightened, says Jimmy, and that's not acceptable at all. Luton with the best performance of the season. Improving was clear and progressive. So disappointing to not even compete on Friday. We need a reaction against Boro, Jimmy. With results from other teams this weekend, Leeds' result hasn't really been capitalised by others. So we're still in the automatic. Of course, we're still in the automatic hunt. They only pulled them level with us, and we've had a 2-point deduction. So it's certainly not the end of the world. But we need to get back on the horse, don't we? This Wednesday night. Completely agree with that starting 11. It's our strongest team. Thank you, Mr. V. Kiefer Moore didn't suit the system on Friday as he needs pace around him, says Jamie, which is why it didn't work. And he needs pacey wingers, but he can definitely work. Just needs the players around him. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think it was mentioned earlier, we need to get crosses in, high crosses into the box for his head. Not deep crosses that are just hitting hopes. Get it to the byline, get balls whipped in for Kiefer. I love the way Sousa's playing, but he's got to be more disciplined. I agree with that, Mr. V. With Big Keith up top, I've noticed not many crosses come into the box for him to attack the ball. Needs to utilise his heading abilities and advantage like the Rory Delap throw. End of the day, says Turkey Jack, if we went for it and lost, we wouldn't be complaining. I think we probably still would, but it wouldn't be. We wouldn't have anybody to blame. It certainly wouldn't be Wilder taking much of the blame, would it? Like he is now. If Gussie's out, I'll put Brewster in. Fan of Ian. Like and subscribe. Thank you, pal. We need to be playing who goes into the box. We seem to be overplaying a lot. Instead of heading straight there and crossing, we just look pass. Boro will be a good test. We need to fix the mistakes against Leeds. I think we will, pal. I think we will. John B says, paid too much respect to Leeds. Absolutely right, we did. Don't agree with Wilder regarding Leeds being the best team in the league. If it played the side which started the previous game, we may have won. Always keep a winning side. Well, to be honest, just to push back on that a little bit, John, he has tweaked the winning side all the way through. And, you know, we can't complain as long as we keep winning, but it's always a risk. And it wasn't just tweaking the side, was it? It was a huge formation shift, and it just did not work. Did not work. So, right, what we're going to move on to now, because I'm conscious that we normally only go for half an hour, but we've got to get some Disco Dave in at some stage because he's the new Sheffield United phenomenon. But first, we're going to have a breakdown from the Boro Breakdown.
Hello Jimmy and everyone at the Leeds Ramble. Johnny here from the Boro Breakdown podcast here to give you a bit of a preview on Middlesbrough this season. I actually think we've been fairly mixed, to be honest. We could have had a lot more points on the board. We create a lot of chances and don't put them away. We don't give much away at the back, but we're conceding a couple of chances, some high quality ones as well. So we could really have a lot more points on the board. We have thrown games away, especially the one against Watford, where we're 1-0 up and we gave away these two stupid goals, one being a long throw, and it was just very, very frustrating to lose that game. I still cannot believe after the international break that we lost that last game against Watford. But anyway, we're near the playoffs. One big win will help us get back in there. And, fingers crossed, if we're in there, we'll stick in there because we have a good enough squad to do so. And hopefully we can do that. So, but a fairly mixed start so far. Yeah, absolutely he is. Yeah, I absolutely love Michael Carrick. He's definitely the right man for us, a really good development coach. He's developed a lot of players in the group. And, it's exciting. It's exciting to have a manager like Carrick in charge. Continuing to play good football, and sometimes it can be a bit frustrating where we take too many touches in the box, but overall the message is very much clear. Carrick is the man to take us up, and I think 90+% of Boro fans would say that as well. I think we'll stick with the 4-2-3-1. It obviously changes now as a lot of teams do in and out of possession. In possession we are looking at that either 4-2-4, 3-2-5. You see that inverted wing on that left-hand side, like Mario Magritte will come in on the left foot and be a bit of a floating player and try and cause overloads in the centre. That does leave us pretty suspect on the left-hand side. Doesn't matter how many left-backs we've had there since Ryan Giles. That left-back position is one, I would say, target. And our wing-back in Luke Ayling as well, he's not let us down so far, but I have noticed that teams are maybe starting to put a couple of people or a couple of fast players wingers on him as he is slowly on that decline as well. But overall I think he's been fairly impressive, Luke Ayling. But we'll be in that 4-2-3-1 shape probably in the set, and then we'll probably move to a 3-2-5 going forward, or we might go to a 5-4-1 when we're defending as well. We've got a good layer, good layers of attacking threats. Ben Doak, who came on loan from Liverpool, has been an excellent addition for us. Riley McGree on the left-hand side as well, who can float and roam around the attack midfield. Laugh getting forward, but he's just been fairly unlucky, I would say. He's getting in the right areas, working really hard for the team, following his linked move to Ipswich. He's just been really unlucky in front of goal, only the one goal so far, but he's still definitely a threat up front as well. Like I mentioned there, it is that left hand side for us, the left back position. It's just mainly a fault of how we play, to be honest. Since we have so many strengths going forward, that left back position can be exposed quite a lot. I think it doesn't matter who's played there since Ryan Giles, and even when Giles was there, people were saying he can't defend. We've had Engel there, Bangura's been injured, Luke Thomas, and now Neto Borges. All of them have struggled because it is a 2v1 situation at times on that right hand side and our left back position. And then also I would say our full back in Luke Ayling, although he hasn't let us down, I've just noticed more teams are starting to put more pacey players in front of him, and he's had to use a lot of experience to get himself over the line in games. So yeah, I would say that's probably our position. That's our weakest position, to be honest. I'm really intrigued to see how it goes, to be honest, because against teams who are in higher quality, we do really well against, to be honest. We've been excellent against Leeds, excellent against West Brom, where we've won both of those games. It's the teams there where we should really beat. We've really struggled, to be honest. I think Sunderland was a frustrating game where we missed a massive sitter, and then we conceded, and it was pretty much part of the bus, and we just couldn't break it down. But other than that, we've been quite good. I think if Sheffield United will try and match us and give us the space, I think we could have a bit of joy, and why not? I think for a lot of Boro fans as well, the way Chris Wilder left us, it could add that little bit of spice as well to the game. But how will I see it? I think Boro will probably be a bit more dominant, I would say, in possession. I would think that Sheffield United might try and go for us on the counter, which some teams have done and been successful as. But I think it'd be a very much a testing first half, quite rigid, nothing really much given away from both sides. And that second half, I think it'd be set, or the game would be dictated by one or two big chances, and someone will probably get the win. I can't see it being a draw, to be honest. It's an interesting one, honestly. I think at the start of the season, I thought, will they struggle? Although they've got a fairly decent, good squad. If I'm honest, I'm not too sure. I think it's a really well-matched game, where Boro might see the weaknesses come from Sheffield United, to be honest. Obviously, when watching Wilder ball in the past, you can see that overcommitment of players at times. There can be structural issues where we tend to, if things go south, it's pretty much every striker in God's green earth will come on the pitch, and you lose a bit of structure. So I think if Boro do take the lead and it's that 75th minute, you could see a 2-0 win. I think could potentially happen just due to the structural issue, I think, which Wilder can have, to be honest. But he's definitely fixed the defensive woes of last season. You're looking much more hungry and an aggressive side now, and I'm just really keen to see how it plays out. Admittedly, I haven't seen too much of Sheffield United so far this season, but I'm very intrigued to see how it goes in the midweek. I can't see it being a draw. I really can't. It's either one win for a Boro or a win for Sheffield United. I'm gonna go 2-0 Boro, I think. Maybe. I'm not really confident about that, to be honest, Jimmy, but I'll take it. I'll take a 2-0. So you can find the Boro Breakdown on Twitter, the Boro_Breakdown, Boro Breakdown on all the podcast providers as well. We're also on all the social media platforms, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram and Twitter as well. So just search for the Boro Breakdown and you'll be able to find us. We'll both be in and around it. I definitely think that we've got enough quality on our side to really compete in that top 6 or top 8. Sheffield United can definitely see that too. It's still a really good squad. Yes, there has been a turnover of players, but they're building a good squad. Callum O'Hare, Hamer, really good players at this level. So I'm intrigued to see how it goes. But let's see. I think we'll definitely be up there, but I just can't be in another automatic position scrap again. I just can't do it. It's not good for the mental health. But guys, thank you very much for having me on. All the best for the rest of the season. Although against us the whole week, we kind of. All right, thanks, guys.
Nice one, Johnny from Boro Breakdown. Really knows. In fact, the podcast, the Boro Breakdown podcast, is really insightful, informative. They know the stuff. It's one of the. I don't get a lot of time to watch other teams' stuff, unfortunately. I watch a few Leeds ones as and when it's going our way, but Boro Breakdown is one that I make time to watch. So, Johnny and Dana and everybody, I believe they're in for another award as well as ourselves for the Football Content Awards. So, congratulations to them. Footy Fanatics says, my 11, Cooper, Alfie, Anel, Suter, Sam McCallum, Sidney Peck, Ollie Arblaster, Brewster, Callum O'Hare, Raksaki, and more. If Gus is fit, him in for Rian. My prediction is 0-0. Let's hope we don't go into bad form as we have Pig FC soon, says Footy Fanatic. Absolutely right. Jack says, are we still on the same points as Leeds? We're still on the same points as Leeds and go there with arguably the hardest game of the season out of the way. Absolutely right. That's where I'm trying to convince myself to, Jack. There was a minute's silence at most, if not all, championship grounds at the weekend for the Starman. More so Oxford, where the Baldock family have connections. Absolutely right. It's been brilliantly respected. I think my worries are still there, especially with scoring. Turkey Jack, you are always worried. Don't worry, pal. Don't worry. We're all right. We'll be good, pal. Could be struggling because we don't actually have a proper win. We're not struggling. We struggled against Leeds because we tried something different. We've been going great before that. I'd put Burrows on the left and McCallum at left back, says Danny. We must utilise the height of our squad. We've scored from one set piece this season, which is a free kick against Derby. We have 6'5" more, 6 foot Summit Anel and 6'7" and Souza and 6'7" Suter. We have a delivery from Harrison Burrows and Gus Hamer. We're not making the most of set pieces. Absolutely right, we're not. Let's go Disco Dave, says David. Yeah, he's coming up in a minute. He's coming up because we're actually over time. I want to try and get as many comments in as I can. So I appreciate you taking the time. Last season, Kiefer Moore was scoring goals for Ipswich. He helped them over the line. Ipswich played to his strengths with players up alongside him and crosses coming into the box regularly. Absolutely right, Michael. The other thing I'd say is they did that. Which, are we starting to do that a little bit? I don't know. McCallum, in my opinion, is a better fullback than Burrows, but when we play 5 at the back, I prefer Burrows. So I think he's much better wing back. I agree with him being the best wing back. I don't know, actually, to be fair, but we're not going to go to a 5 at the back footy fanatics. So does that mean you would start McCallum in front of Burrows? I don't think I would. I think Burrows has got better every game. Maybe not Friday. Is Gus out on Wednesday? I hope not, as he's our best player. I don't know, pal. I'm just going on. Wilder's presser will likely be tomorrow, so we'll find out then. He limped off is my only concern. So Andy says, I'm a Wilder fan, but I think he's messed up for Leeds. Bigged up Leeds far too much. Both pre and post-match, the players must have thought we've no chance listening to that. Hopefully we'll bounce back at Boro. Bring back Billy Sharp. He's better than Keith, says John. Very happy with the defence this season. Always having a good defence in the Championship because as a newly promoted club, you need to be good defensively, and that we learned that the hard way last season. Drew says we probably won't know who's out until the team sheet's published. Wilder straight up lie about who's in or out. We witnessed that with Ollie Harblack. Yeah, he did, pal. That's fair. That's very fair. What's that Boro guy smoking? 2-0 Boro. Yeah, right. Listen, you got to back your own, haven't you? You got to back your own. And they're a good team. They are a good team. They had a bad result last time out, so did we. But you can't. Some of their players, when you look at them, Riley McGree, Latte Lath, I like a lot of their team. Is Hayden Hackney still fit? I don't know. We've already got trips to places like Ellen Road, Deepdale, Carrow Road, Fratton Park. Some teams aren't brilliant, but at home can be a tough game like Preston and Pompey, and now we knock off the Riverside. Well said, pal. Typically, Borough fan, all deluded from that neck of the woods. I think Drew makes a good point. Wilder picked a defensive team, then criticised the fans for calling him out. Here we go. Fatty folk, you have not been commenting on streams for weeks. This is the second consecutive stream you've commented after Wilder got it wrong. Oh, dearie me. I wanted to see more of Brooksy. Yes, me too, pal. Me too. Jimmy, do you think the previous team Wilder took up to the Premier League is better than his current one? Yes. Yeah, I do. How can you replace players like Jack O'Connell, George Baldock, Ender Stevens in their pomp? That you've got to remember, it's not like John Egan now, for example, wouldn't automatically walk. Well, probably wouldn't get in our first 11 now. But at that time, for the formation we were playing, yeah, I think we had a better side then. Having said that, we had a on-loan goalkeeper, which now we've got a permanent goalkeeper, which is brilliant. So I think we're getting there. It'd have finished 0-0 if we defended the corner because Wilder wouldn't replace defensive players for forwards, which caused gaps in the defence. We went for it, didn't we? After we conceded, we went for it, definitely. Turkey Jack's going 3-0 Raksaki. What's happened to you, pal? What's going on there, mate? Love that. Jimmy, we should stick to the starting 11 that has worked every game. We did the first time Wilder got us promoted. And the only change when needed regarding similar to like having band players or injury, up the blades, up the Ramble. Dave Webster, best mates. Nice to see Reece Norrington Davies play. I thought he played well as well. Jimmy, do you think Wilder will add further recruitment in the January window? Yes, I do. If so, which areas does he need to strengthen? I'd like a legit left winger, personally. A lot of people will say striker, but I think we need a legit left winger. We do have a history of poor results and bad luck at Middlesbrough this week. It'll change. 2-0 Blades, says Mel. Love that. And Bryce says, evening, Jimmy. Come on, you Blades. 2-1 Blades win. Now, I'm at the end of the comments, which is brilliant. I'm only 5 minutes over, but I cannot leave without giving you some Disco Dave because it's the new phenomenon to the Ramble and to the Blades fan base. And my dad has been a fan of Disco Dave for a long, long time, been nudging me, get him on the Ramble, get him on the Ramble. And I'm like, okay. So we've done it. Andy the Blade was right. And because Andy the Blade was right, you all know what kind of a relationship I have with my dad. I'm going to play you my dad's favourite Disco Dave song. Now, they've always got, on 9 times out of 10, they've got the two, it's that bloody camera thing again. Anyway, forget it. They're always to a legit song. So the tune you may be able to recognize. So let me know if you know what the tune is. I actually know what tune this is, but I'm usually quite bad at working them out. So get in the comments what tune you think this is to, but this is Disco Dave.
Bright lights, flashing lights, dancing feet in neon tights. Mirror ball, don't behave, everybody shout out, Disco Dave. Disco Dave.
Oh, United love Alan Neil. Watching United is a thrill. When we put in practice your free kick and corner drill. Oh, United love Alan Neil. Watching United is a thrill. How do we get defenders popping up on the wing? Oh, United love Alan Neil. We think he's a tactical genius. So when Wilder takes a plan from his right-hand man, it's all down to Alan Neil. Takes a plan from his right-hand man, it's all down to Alan Neil.
Disco Dave.
Brilliant from Disco Dave. That is Andy the Blade's favourite Disco Dave song. I spent most of the weekend editing and uploading Disco Dave songs to the video list that we can now play out. So loads of them to come. So now we have a sponsor, says Nige. Do you reckon that's a no for the takeover? I would assume so, but I haven't got an update and it's just an assumption. Wish we had Fjortoff for the game, says Danny Boy. Good to have missed this. Can't share my thoughts. Of course you can, pal. Of course you can. Get them in. I do read every comment. I might not be able to respond to every comment afterwards, but I do read every single comment that people post. So my 3-year-old son dancing along to your Disco Dave intro. It's from Mamma Mia, says Turkey Jack. I'm going Fernando. What the hell? He makes the hairs on my arm stand up. He's brilliant. It's vaguely ABBA, I believe. I think it's Chiquitita, do it. I don't know ABBA, but it's Chiquitita, I think, isn't it? Oh, United love Alan Neil. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you to Disco Dave and thank you to everybody. I am going for a Blades smash and grab 1-0 victory at the Riverside. Let me know your score predictions down below. Join us over on Patreon for Hot Topic because we're going live over there in about 2 minutes. So thank you to everybody. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Up the